Now, do transgender women, or let's put it this way, no, transgender men, I got that wrong. Transgender men, do they give birth? Yes.
I mean, so many things you get wrong, but sure, let's start there.
But that's not the same as saying...
Good on you. Growth, everyone. We're here for it, all right? We're here for the process. It's about the process. All right, we've been putting off fireside chats for too long, and now we have some players, all right? We got Lance of the Serfs, and then, of course, I'm not going to say his name because otherwise he'll just wake up right away, but y'all know him and love him, you know? Who's right there. And we've got the free Otto campaign. We're going to try and free Otto today. But let's see what wild things he can talk about.
Everybody, Dennis Prager here for the fireside chat. There's the fireside. I'm the chat. Now, a word about Otto.
It was funny.
Otto did something during the last fireside chat.
What, did he fart? Chico farts all the time. Better know that you're getting some farts in you.
Teleprompter or script. And this is just one of the most important subjects I could address.
That can be
so
untaught.
I'll address it, even though I know I've mentioned it in the past. And that is
I'm game.
Blank.
Alex Executive.
As in race doesn't mean a damn thing. It means nothing. It is very sad, actually, that I even have to say this. You know, I grew up a liberal. And by the way, I retain many liberal values. Most conservatives do. That's the irony. Conservatives are the protectors of liberalism today. The left is the enemy of liberalism. I wish liberals understood that. But when I grew up, the notion that the ideal is it is only a person's character that matters, personality, character, whatever, not their color, that was the ideal. That was the famous Martin Luther King speech, which you note is no longer quoted.
You know what I'd like, if I had an opportunity, I just want to ask the question, do you think that society, the way it functions, like institutional racism or systemic racism exists? Because if the answer is no, then it's genuinely no, then fine. I'll walk away from this. I'll just be like, okay, so you just ignore that. But I think they do know it exists, but they're all trying to always reframe the argument. They're trying to twist it so that they're like, well, we just care about the content of your character, not the color of your skin. Have you heard of MLK? Because that's the way everyone should, like, why do y'all talk about race all the time? Oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm, 25% black, I'm 15% Polynesian. Lance is like, he's half Métis and all this kind of stuff. Why do you keep bringing all these things up? Why don't we just talk about the content of our character?
Martin Luther King is
literally right when I unpaused it.
was a liberal, not a leftist.
Yeah, no, he was a socialist. Sorry. We get that one. That one's ours.
He would be repulsed by things that are being said today. They're not being said in his name, to be honest, but the things that are being said today about race.
He would
Tell
be.
me
I'll
one
give you
reason
that.
why color should be important. The only people who believed color was important were, in fact, racists. The Ku Klux Klan, they thought race was important. The Nazis, they thought race is important. And now the left does. Or progressives, as they like to call themselves. They're in terrible company when you think about it. Why is it important? Why is skin color important? Is hair color important? Is shoe color important? So why is skin color important? And it violates the deepest religion.
So fucking close. You're right. Why do we characterize humans based on this arbitrary thing called melanin? Why does society stratify like that? And why historically has it done it to different races for different reasons? It's kind of like there's a connection.
Religious beliefs of my life, and I'm a deeply religious person. I get my values from the Bible. That's why I've written a Bible commentary, which I urge you to read because it makes everything I say make sense. That's where I get my values from. So the story, I don't care whether you literally believe it or not, the stories are there to teach lessons. So God creates Adam. What color was Adam? Whether you believe it literally or not is, as I said, irrelevant. It's the point of the story that matters, right? So God creates Adam. Adam has no color. Why, if white supremacists wrote the Bible, they would have said, and God created Adam a white man and Eve a white woman. Correct? Then you would have a racist text. There is absolutely no hint as to Adam's color or Eve's color because it doesn't matter. That's the whole point. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to God, and it shouldn't matter to you or to me. What color is God? Because it says, after all, human being is created in God's image. What color is God? The question is absurd. God has no color. Color doesn't mean anything. And yet we're told by the truly, truly morally sick world of the left that if you say color doesn't mean anything, that's racist. It's on the list of racist microaggressions put out by the University of California. Yes, you look it up, University of California racist microaggressions. The list is out there. And anybody who says, I'm colorblind, is considered a racist.
So that was like, I don't know, 1994 circa, I want to say, around 10, the Nintendo 64 came out. Or was that 95 when the 60? I think 95 is when the 64 came out. Maybe the PS1 is what I'm thinking of. But that's back when it was in vogue to tell people, no, I'm not racist. I don't see race. I don't see color. No, I see everyone as equals, you know? If someone's like, hey, over there, could you tell me who you're talking about? Be like, oh, it's probably the man next to the other man, next to that other man. They'd be like, well, every single person there is black, but there's one white guy. Are you talking about the one white guy? Oh, no. I'm not gonna lay it out like that. Okay, there's just a bunch of people. It's the guy wearing the blue pants with the black shirt. You understand what's happening, right? Because that was the thing back in the 90s. It was like you don't see race. And you know what's odd? You know what's really odd is I've always felt that all these conservatives, they all seem to really push this idea that it's the left that won't shut up about race. It's the left that won't shut up about gender. It's the left that won't shut up about feminism, about meritocracy, about toxic masculinity, all these things. Whereas, like, if you look at social sciences, it's really a way of interpreting the way society itself works, right? So we're the one making observations. We're the ones pointing out that, well, the overwhelming amount of the world's richest people are cis, white, straight men. The overwhelming amount of the world's CEOs in America happen to be cis, white men. Seems to be a pattern there. The overwhelming amount of politicians in power in most branches of government happen to be cis, white men. So that's typically what we're talking about when we reflect upon the fact that there is, yes, some white supremacy going on. We're just trying to make you cognizant of it so we don't ignore it all, go business as usual, and then go to the whole like, well, I don't see color. I've never seen color. Not once.
Is that a joke? If you don't see color, you're a racist.
Man, there were so many incredible super diverse movies last year.
Yeah. Diverse movies?
Yeah, like Moonlight or Lion, Hidden Figures and Fences, movies that didn't like just feature white people.
So interesting. I never really thought about that.
Really? Even after the whole Oscars so white thing and all the articles written about it?
Call me crazy, but I just don't see race. I guess I'm just the least racist person here.
Okay. Race is like often like a pretty obvious thing to observe. It's not like racist to notice.
I had to laugh. Zach, my goodness, I only see one race.
Ugh.
The human race.
Such bullshit. You're only telling yourself that so you don't have to think about racism or confront your own prejudices.
No, I'm not prejudiced, okay? I don't even judge Trapp for being a woman.
I'm a man, Katie, you know that.
No, honestly, I just guessed. This is gonna sound nuts, but I don't see gender and I don't see sex. I just see people.
You don't see how men and women look different?
No, I just see like shapeless blobs walking around.
Okay, and if one of those shapeless blobs were pregnant, you would then know that it was a woman.
To me, it could just be like a heavy-set man who has like a big watermelon stomach. Okay, I just am so committed to equality. I'm just a good person.
Unless you're blind, you can tell that people have inherent differences.
Oh, I wouldn't know if I was blind or not because I don't see disabilities. I'm not a monster.
So if someone were in a wheelchair, you wouldn't be able to see the wheelchair.
I have never seen A wheelchair?
Never seen a wheelchair.
I don't know what a wheelchair looks like.
If someone were in a wheelchair, you would not install a ramp in your building.
I would refuse.
What if someone was missing a limb?
It's perhaps tucked under their little butt.
If someone were deaf,
Talk to them as if they could hear.
why are you so proud of yourself?
Okay, well, here's a thought. Maybe you don't get it because you have less experience on Earth than I do.
Experience? We're all older than you.
I'm sorry, but I don't see age.
Oh, come on! You're telling me if there was an old woman and a baby, you wouldn't be able to tell which one's older?
One of them is called an old woman. It's in the name, Katie.
No, because I believe in equality, and I believe everyone is the same age.
That's not what equality means. You have two older brothers. Can you at least acknowledge that?
Yes, and I believe both women are my same age.
Oh my God. What about your parents? How old were they when they had you?
I think they are both ageless and every age at the same time.
Jesus Christ, Katie. What else can't you see?
Pretty much everything. Baldness, for example.
So Bruce Willis,
Is he bald?
he's famously bald.
I had no idea.
Katie, why are you doing this?
Guys! Come on, okay?
I think this sketch is kind of as dated as the concept itself. But we have to hear more of Dennis Prager's opinion on
How
it.
much nonsense we're asked to believe, that is a perfect example. Men give birth is nonsense, but we're asked to believe it. The fact that a lot of Americans are prepared to say men give birth is an example of how, if anything is said enough people will believe it. It's a very scary lesson. Now, do transgender women, or let's put it this way, no, transgender men, I got that wrong. Transgender men, do they give birth? Yes.
I mean, so many things you get wrong, but sure, let's start there.
But that's not the same as saying,
Good on you. Growth, everyone. We're here for it. All right, we're here for the process. It's about the process.
men give birth. That's what they want us to say. A biological female who identifies as a male can give birth. Nobody disputes that because only biological females give birth. That's a fact, not an opinion, not a hate statement. It's not anti-anybody. It's anti-lies. It's anti-nonsense. I'm anti a lot of things, by the way, like nonsense. I find nonsense to be repulsive if you have to actually believe in it. And it's nonsense that color matters, as I've said.
Not repulsed by racism itself, but nonsense. My God. If I see one man be nonsensical to another man, he should be hung in Roblox.
I've said on many occasions, what person looks in the mirror in the morning when they're getting ready and thinks, oh, there you are, and then fill in the race? How you doing, black man? Who the hell says that? Does a white look in the mirror and go, how you doing, white guy? It's absurd.
I guarantee you that's how he speaks to his servants. I guarantee you. And there's no way. There's no way you can, I know it's unquantifiable. There's no way for me to actually observe it, but I've got a feeling.
I look in the mirror, I see Dennis. That's it. I presume Nathan looks in the mirror and sees Nathan. Now, I will admit, he has a better face to look at than mine, but nevertheless, I'm not bad. But Nathan, on the other hand, I'm trying to advertise Nathan because I'm trying to get him married. By the way, I'm pretty damn good at getting people married. Just for the record, you can
Weird
all
segues.
laugh, but I'm pretty good at it.
Should one pursue their giftings and passions as the world constantly and loudly clamors? Or should one jump onto any job and stick it out there? I appreciate you taking the time to answer, and I hope you have a blessed day. You too, Otto.
He's
Hear
been
that,
divorced
Otto?
3 times. I didn't know that.
Why did he think his town
That makes
is weird?
sense.
But there are many arguments in the other
He's had
direction
many
as
wives.
well. For example,
Many wives.
I think the really terrific example is my stepson, Reed. Reed is incredibly gifted in IT. Or I mean, I think he's a sort of genius in the arena. He has an instinct on how to make things and fix things in the world of computers, in the world of electronics, in the world of woodwork. I mean, it's just a gift.
The
I
world
look at
of
him
wood.
like I look at a piano virtuoso. He's a virtuoso in what he does.
He's not telling us anything about racism and stuff like that. I think we're going to have to turn to his story time hour. It's for the kids, everybody. It's like Wu-Tang for the kids. Here we go.
to Otto's Tales.
Oh,
I'm
whoa.
Candace, and as many
Whoa. Candace Self-Made Owens. This is our first story time with Candace Owens. This is going to be good. I wonder if she's going to teach us about World War II. Yeah, and how Hitler wasn't actually an evil person. No, that's actually pseudo history. No, Chico, don't get upset. It's a lie. It turns out that he was a nationalist. He just became bad when he had ambitions outside of Germany. So that's when he became a bad guy. But before that, just a nationalist, you know. Don't look up if he was ethnically cleansing anyone before the imperialist ambitions set in. Don't Google that. Google lies to you. Have you seen Conservatipedia? Much better.
many of you know,
I think even Conservatipedia might point out that he was actually ethnically cleansing Jewish people well before he started invading other countries. But they too lie to you. What you need is Candace Owenspedia. All right. Check out Candace Owenspedia. That is the one unbiased source on the internet where you will find the truth. All right. So go there. That's the only place you should search.
recently became a mother for the first time, so I'm so excited that PragerU is making shows and books for kids. Today, we're reading a story about a boy named Dennis who traveled back in time with PragerU's very own Otto. It's called Otto's Tales, the national anthem and Pledge of Allegiance. Let's get started. Rough.
Conservatipedia says Hitler was a leftist because he called himself a National Socialist. Well, it's in the name. You heard it in the name. Join the Mug Club. Help my blood.
Dennis and I are going on another big adventure. It's time we learn about patriotism and why we love our country, the United States of America. We dressed up like the flag in red, white, and blue. We jumped in our ship, and just like that, zoom! Off to 1814 in Baltimore. There was an ongoing war. The British came to fight, but couldn't
Had a
take
beef with
much more.
Kaltalinsky? That's
The
fucking
British
hilarious.
wanted Fort McHenry, but us Americans said no. This was the War of 1812, and the British had to go. They fired cannonballs and rockets at the fort all night. The Second War for Independence was one heck of a fight. But in the morning at dawn, our flag was raised high. It was still there, waving in the sky. Our worries were relieved when we saw such a sight. Our American flag, still raised, had flown through the night. Francis Scott Key, who was there at that time, wrote a poem about the battle and even made it rhyme. The poem he wrote was quite the composite. He carried it with him inside his front pocket. "Oh, say, can you see?" Francis did recall. Dennis said, "I've heard that sung before a game of baseball." Francis continued, "The rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air." I barked, "That's why we sing, our flag was still there." Dennis said, "It's our star-spangled banner and it makes me so proud. I will always love our country," I happily vowed. I asked, "But why do people sing it before we watch a game?" Dennis said, "Our national anthem reminds us of how together we came." "I'm glad you like my poem," Francis grinned at us on cue. We looked up at the flag with its red, white, and blue. Then zoom, off we went to...
Do you not feel there's a little bit of danger in just like worshiping false idols? I mean, I'm not suggesting that's in the Bible or anything, but I'm just saying, if you're going to teach kids about Old Glory and how wonderful the flag is and how we should venerate it and how it somehow is loosely based around a war, we can't really tell you the details of the war or what happened, but we can say flag shiny, adore it. I mean, that just seems like a weird jumping off point, you know?
to 1954.
Yeah, this is supposed to be baby Prager. He's an old soul or young soul. I don't know how that works. He's weird. It's weird. The answer is weird.
Our ship became a school bus. I almost flew out the door. Our big yellow bus stopped in front of a school. "Dennis," I barked, "look at the kids. How cool." Lots of children were playing and having fun. Then the bell rang, and they started to run. They went to their classes and sat in their chairs. They looked up at the teacher with soft, quiet stares. "Time to say the pledge." the teacher did start. The students stood up and put their hands on their hearts. I pledge allegiance, they all together did say. Dennis, I asked, do they do this every day? Yes, Dennis said with his hand on his heart. It is how every day at school should start. President Dwight Eisenhower's picture hung on the wall. Who's that? I whispered in a voice oh so small. That's the current president, Dennis answered with a smile. He added, under God, to the pledge we've said this whole while. That's pretty important, I whispered back to my friend. So is liberty and justice for all, like we say at the end. We hopped back on our bus and then again, zoom, vroom, 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 back to Dennis's room. That was my favorite adventure yet, I barked. You say that every time, Otto. Well, I never knew how much I loved our national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance. Yes, said Dennis, our flag, with its red, white, and blue stars and stripes, is more than just a piece of cloth. It represents our country. And that's why we stand for it when we sing the national anthem and say the pledge, I replied. We don't say the pledge because America is a perfect place, Dennis explained. We say the pledge because America is a good place and because it is our place. And we can make it even better, I barked. We've been doing that since 1776. God bless America, shouted Dennis. God bless America. Ruff, ruff. The end. That was a great adventure, not only because of the ship and school bus, but because our Pledge of Allegiance and national anthem have unique stories about how they were created.
Ramses, I will not tolerate such blasphemy, all right? You gotta be Team Chico or nothing. It's just Team Chico in these parts. And obviously, I'm trying not to get him to bark in the house. He's very well trained. Look how calm he is. He just becomes a little saucisse while I stream. Just adorable little sausage for you all to enjoy when the worst of the world is going on right up here. You know, all this stuff is going down. It's all going to be scary, horrifying, but then down here you got yourself just a little coiled sausage. It's quite nice. Do you want movies and Serfs watching the movies? So then come over to the new channels. It's the Serfs the cinema. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Can you do the thing, that thumbs up and comment and all those things that help us out in the algorithm that controls every aspect of our lives? Also, if you happen to have a Facebook account, can you delete it? Like just delete it. You should probably delete your Facebook account because it's not a great company. But hey, if you can't do that for whatever reason, I understand. And could you also go to facebook.com/thesurftimes then and give us a little like and a follow. We're just trying to push back against the fact that people like Ben Shapiro happen to dominate the platform entirely. And when everyone asks why do older generations believe the things they believe, one of the problems is the majority of them on social media use Facebook. So to counter that, we're just going to be on there too now. Also, if you happen to have a union or a worker co-op or even a leftist project, podcast, website, Zoom, MySpace, it doesn't matter. We will advertise it for free on this channel. All you got to do is go to weareserfs.com and use the forms that we got there, weareserfs.com. Thanks, everybody.
To our wonderful gods, Xander Corvus, VK Jehannam, T. Grow, and Peyton L. Just, may you smite all of our enemies. To our monarchs, Tom Spiker and the Tim Caucus, we are your humble servants, ready to do all your bidding. To our lords, Evan Nudie, Trevor R., Alexander Thaler, Ryan Lubin, and Jeff Lamb, we shall proudly carry your banner on the online battlefield. To our Knights of the Round Table, Val 9000, Jenna Tal, Dark Puppy, Quiet 185, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevor Janis, Lemmy 101, Anthropophojack, Saren 42, Chronic the Hemphog, Phone Jenny, Radical Maniac, Ramon Acosta, Jimmy Big Nuts, Violent Orchard, Sophie Baby, Political Puppy, Andreas Chiringuito, Zach Christensen, Yopi, Josh Mickelson, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We raise our glass and we raise our swords and we salute you.